When you think about it, the Tasmania Devils are here. Lynchy is, of course, on the board of the Tassie Football Club. He's a Tassie legend, so we are going to devote this segment. I'm just calling it the Devils, what are we calling it? The Devil's Advocate.
Yes. Devil's Advocate. Yeah, very nice.
But speaking of theme songs, there's so many great Devil songs you could use. I was just having a look. I mean, obviously you've got Kylie, Better the Devil You Know. The Devil Went Down to Georgia, just for a bit more up your alley there. Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. Now, I know you were able to get Warner Brothers over the line, but, gee, royalties from the Rolling Stones, I'm not sure about that. And, of course, you could even get In Excess. Bugger Port Adelaide, you can use Devil Inside by In Excess.
All right, we'll try that.
Or Devil Woman by Cliff Richard. That's more from your personal collection.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. No, well, I think some good options there, so we'll look at those.
And your on-field apparel sponsor is going to be Prada. The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
See, I could do can I have the marketing job at your club? I think I've got this sorted.
Well, there's a couple up for grabs now. You can put your application in.
Might get you as a reference.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That mightn't work.
So, take us through it. Yesterday, so as I mentioned earlier, we're recording this on a Tuesday morning. So yesterday, in Tasmania, in Devonport, it was announced, and Launceston, I think at the same time, it was announced that the club would be the Tasmania Devils. They would wear the myrtle green, Clarice yellow, and the rose red. Is that it?
Primrose.
Primrose red. Primrose red.
Come on, mate.
Oh, we'll get used to these colours.
Yeah.
And you're going to wear the traditional Tassie state jumper. Take us through the process, what it means. Just give us all the feels about the Tassie Devils right now.
Well, I think from the very outset of when the board was formed, post the May announcement of the provisional licence last year, I think everyone was very conscious that we wanted to make this about the whole state and the community and make sure that everyone felt engaged in the process and everything that we do. And so the launches last night were at 6 sites at the same time. So Oatlands, St Helens, Queenstown, Devonport, Launceston and Hobart.
Hobart, that's a major part of little town in Tasmania, Hobart. Right.
Those launches all went at the same time, and it was to make sure that communities, local football clubs felt a part of it. And so the surveys came out via community engagement and with the past players and legends about what they wanted. And the overwhelming support was for the Tassie jumper. It was a given. They wanted the colours, and those colours were signed off by the Tasmanian Football League in 1906, I think it was.
Yep.
I was at the meeting. So the colours were a given. The Devils was a given. Everyone wanted. And I thought Richmond might arc up if we go to Tasmanian Tigers, so we sort of just stuck with the Devils.
Damn straight.
And then there was around the jumper, there was a lot of discussion, but still overwhelming support for that as our heritage jumper.
So, just to clarify with the Tassie state jumper, that is your heritage jumper. That is not the jumper that Tasmania will wear at home games.
At this stage, yes.
So that's your home jumper.
Yeah, no, that's our home. I said the wrong term then. But
so that's a jumper you wear at home.
Yeah.
But obviously, knowing how, especially these days, football club jumpers are, and you wear like 6 different jumpers a year with different things, there'll be different variations.
Absolutely,
there'll be versions.
There'll be away jumpers. There'll be Indigenous jumpers. There'll be all sorts of themed jumpers. But that is our historical jumper of the football club, and built on 150 years of history.
Now, for the benefit of the camera here, this is the front page of today's Hobart Mercury, and that is, of course, the Tassie Devils logo.
And you do know that the North West Coast newspaper is the Advocate.
What did I say? The Mercury?
That's the southern one.
Oh, okay.
But when you go in the Devil's Advocate being
the
theme.
Devil's Advocate.
So there is a North West Coast Advocate.
So that's the Boags paper, and this is the Cascade paper.
Yes, well, it gets a bit complex, but yes, basically.
That's how we divide Tasmania. So that's the logo there. We might actually be the first ones to get a cease and desist about the Tassie logo in history. But here it is here.
I'll be the first one to get a kick in the bum for actually letting you put it up.
Anyway,
it'll be fun.
Anyway, so this is it here. It is fantastic, the logo. I
pleased
really like it.
Pleased you liked it.
What was
the response throughout not only Tasmania, but Australia-wide's been incredible in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, it has been incredible. Like there's probably the support for the logo has been very good, and it's an artistic adaptation of the devil.
Yeah.
So it's got longer hair than the normal devil, but it's a character, and we're very pleased with the outcome to launch with that, and then hearing the response. There's been some talk around the jumper, but the jumper is in recognition of the history of Tasmania football, and there will be variations of it. But there's been some discussion about that. But I think that was the best option to go with.
It's interesting, that discussion around that, because they say, leave that for state games, but there's not really state games anymore. Not like they used to be. No. Not like when it was big, when it was Victoria versus South Australia versus Tasmania, etc. So I think it's great because it incorporates the whole state to get behind something.
And that's the major thing. Everything that we do and everything we come back to is this is a state team or state teams, men's and women's. It's not a Hobart football club. No. Thus, the community engagement events all around the state and the 6 launches at the same time. So, and the map sort of is all encompassing to reinforce that it is a state team. So, and there was an argument about, this is for Tasmanians to play state games, but there's an enormous amount of people that are born interstate and have represented Tasmania as well, and this will be the case moving forward.
But for it to be successful in Tasmania as well, because everyone in Tasmania, I imagine, has a team that they support anyway.
Yes.
So you're going to have to try and win them over as best you can. Yes, they can probably follow both to a degree, but if you can sell them on the Tasmania and the whole state, then it's an easy win for me. From the outside, I know it might be a bit different.
When they go on sale, they will sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, they will.
Those Tassie jumpers.
So they're like, you're right. So, and that was part of the AFL's decision to go with the expansion clubs of the Gold Coast Suns and GWS to start with, was for a new market.
Yep.
So Tasmania is a mature market, as you said. Everyone already supports a team. So our challenge is to convert them. But from what we've seen so far, and within, 14 hours to get to 75,000 members, we're seeing that.
Amazing.
But, I mean, with the likes of, say, a Tasmanian version of you that's passionate Richmond, I think it will be hard until you actually get there.
Yep.
So you get to a game and you're watching Richmond versus Tasmania. It's where your heart takes you.
Yep.
Now, we're feeling that the heart is taking people to the Tasmanian Football Club in these early stages. So it'll be fascinating to see which way it goes. But the momentum has started well. The engagement's been really good, and we're very happy with the logos.
I think if you're a born and bred Tasmanian and you've wanted this your whole life, but you've supported another club, I wouldn't normally say this. I think you have a leave pass. To change your allegiances.
For a diehard Melbourne man that goes for Richmond, you've bought a membership.
Yeah.
So explain that.
It's out of support for football. It's out of support for this is good for football.
I don't think Richmond will be too happy about that.
I think, given that Brendan Gale and Jack Rewalt and Matthew Richardson, here's the back.
Stewart.
Look at the back page of the Herald Sun here. It's bloody Richo holding up a Tasmanian jumper. So,
but you're right. I mean, everyone at Richmond would excuse that because, Richo knows. You know what? Tasmanians are passionate about their state.
Yeah.
Especially or when they live there, they are. You know what? Tasmanians are more passionate about their state when they leave, and always crave. So what we're finding is the passion for Tasmanians that have left, whether that be expats that live in London, which you've been hearing so much from over the last few hours, or on the mainland. The passion is there and the support has been incredible. So we're looking forward to what's next, but it's been a good start.
So 75,000 members, all at $10, which is phenomenal.
$10 to $15.
I bought the $15 one because I was feeling a bit generous.
4 stickers if you...
Yeah, four stickers.
Yeah. I better sign up.
They go on new car. I think we
it.
should sign Rocky up. You know who else we should sign up as a Tasmanian member is our buttons and cameraman, Richard. He doesn't actually have a team.
So South African heritage?
South African heritage.
Team?
Same colours?
Same, very similar colours.
Oh, there
Same
we go,
colours.
done.
But they're a bit more Cameroon colours than South African colours, to be honest. But Rich, are you officially going to sign up as a Tasmania FC member?
Yeah, I'm in.
That's a yes from
He's
Richard.
in. He's in.
So you've got 75,001. He's
Beautiful.
he's the chairman of the Johannesburg Tasmanian Supporters Club.
Yeah.
You've got your first coterie group.
Untapped market.
So,
but good
now,
start.
The recruiting, what is the go? It appears that the AFL doesn't want a GWS Gold Coast type build. They want Tassie to be pretty much up there straight away. Is that the plan?
Yeah, and I think that's from the commission and the clubs. They don't want, the one thing the clubs don't want is a drain on their resources. Mm-hmm. So a struggling club for a 5-year period is not what they want. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sure other clubs want us to win a flag early, but they want the Tasmanian team to come in and be competitive.
Yep.
So that is, the list build is something we're working through now with the AFL. And I've got to say, the AFL have been fantastic in their support and helping us put together a list build plan. So we're going through that at the moment, and hopefully over the next couple of months we'll be able to announce what that is going to look like. Mm-hmm. And then also the other component is, you think, 28's when the AFLW and the AFL teams are going to debut. So what's the best pathway? So it's almost work back from that. How many years in the VFL and VFLW do we need to set things up? When does our training and admin centre get completed so we can get the players involved? So that planning process has been going for a few months now, but we're getting sort of closer over the next probably 3 months to making some announcements there.
Speaking of facilities,
yes,
and there is an election in Tasmania on Saturday. There's still a bit of opposition for the stadium at Macquarie Point, 23,000. I want to play you this clip from Jackie Lambie, Tasmanian senator. Tasmanian royalty. She's probably more Bernie royalty than you.
Well, yes, she's my where I grew up, my federal member.
Tasmania's got more senators than federal lower house MPs. Yeah. Go figure that out. But anyway,
Lynchy's a little bit more classy than Jackie, though.
Oh, hang on. Let's hear what Jackie Lambie has to say about the stadium.
Yep.
And then we'll get the retort from Alastair Lynch.
These restrictions on Tasmania. Nobody else, no other state in Tasmania and in Australia has ever been asked to supply a stadium with a roof over it. I mean, this is just absolutely astonishing. If Andrew Dillon wants a touch of what it's like in Tasmania, hey, mate, I'll put you up for a few weeks. Come and have a look in my backyard in Burnie on the northwest coast, and then you might get a bloody reality check, mate, because we can't afford it in Tasmania. And that's it, end of story. We'd love one, I can tell you. But I tell you, we're not as rich as they are in Western Australia. We don't have all that resources money coming into us, all that sort of stuff. And we have so many issues going on in Tasmania where they have to be prioritised over a stadium. And it's as simple as that.
Your retort, the member for the Tassie Devils, Alastair Lynch?
Well, I do, and sincerely, I do love Jackie's passion about it, because there are a number of key issues in Tasmania, but I know where she's coming from. But we see this, and I think too many people see sporting clubs and AFL sporting clubs as just facilitating AFLW and AFL men's teams. Rocky, as you are very aware, and your club, Dylan, Richmond, do this very well, and actually your club, Port Adelaide, do it extremely well as well. The community work that clubs put in, these are $100 million businesses that do a lot for the community as well. So I see the significant, the huge investment in the stadium as an investment, not a cost. Like too many people are seeing it as a cost at the moment. This will be a multi-purpose stadium for enormous amount of events that I think can really help the economy of Tasmania to then address a lot of the things that Jackie is passionate about, and quite rightly, and especially where Jackie is. Chronic disease in the population up there is probably as bad as there is around the country. So that is an issue. I see this as another opportunity to grow the economy so we can support the health sectors and public housing. So I get it. I'm looking forward to meeting with Jackie at some stage to discuss these things. And also, if she wants to play in the midfield, she can play in the midfield. I reckon she'd be really good in the midfield.
Do you want to get her on the coaching staff to give the boys a spray?
Hard as a cat's head. But it's a great point you make about investment, because you think about the economy, and she talks about the resources that WA and the investment that they get. But by having a stadium and by having that in Tasmania, you may see businesses invest more money down there. I mean, GFG, who's a major sponsor of Port Adelaide, they've got a factory in Tasmania.
Yeah, so that's at Beauty Point.
Yeah.
Down there in Launceston.
So you may see more investment from international companies as well. I know Port Adelaide, their biggest thing to go and play in China was the investment that the South Australian government got from that.
Are you telling me Port Adelaide's venture to China was a trade junket?
Well,
it was.
It was a valuable,
it was an investment. It was a valuable
investment.
I mean that's where Port got bang for buck from.
No, and that's what I mean. So, like, you can't see this as a negative to build an amazing world-class stadium down in Tasmania. You have to see it as an investment, as Lynchy said, and you may get benefits from other investments, not just the stadium and being able to have different events there. Actually, investments from companies around Australia and internationally.
And you're not just building a ground to host football 8 times a year. You're building something that's year-round, has a purpose.
And the local league will use it for their grand finals and everything.
So there's a lot of things that the venue would be used for. But, the economy, you think if it is a 23,000 seat stadium, you realistically, for the bigger teams especially, you're going to have 5,000 coming over from Melbourne. Whether they land in Devonport on the boat and drive down or fly in directly, you top and tail it with a couple of days either side. Beautiful. It is a huge money spinner for the economy.
The pubs are full.
And then I think also when we're looking at, and I'm looking at my region as well, and Jackie knows this area much better than I, so I'm not certainly going to debate her on that sort of stuff. But with community engagement, youth activities, like getting youth into sport. And so we've got to actually get sport up and going more in schools and in the regional clubs so that they are not just support networks for health, but also that mentorship that we all know and all experienced.
And just to go a step back, what you were saying about filling up the pubs and the tourism attraction of playing in Hobart, I think, speaking as someone who's done away trips as a fan before, everyone wants to go to Adelaide now because of Adelaide Oval. Yeah, Adelaide Oval is the best away trip in football. It certainly wasn't when they were playing at Football Park. No. And that's the kind of effect it will have on Hobart. Hobart's awesome. So to have a decent footy ground and right in the heart of the city with
a lot of what it'll do as well. And there's some great golf courses down there, and people will go watch
race tracks and fantastic, and then go
racing. And like it's a massive win. Just ticks nearly every box.
And also, just to continue on. It's actually so exciting for Tasmanian sport at the moment because not only have the Devils been launched, but the Jack Jumpers are playing their second game in the NBL Grand Final Series this weekend. And I know that the Jack Jumpers coach got right up the Melbourne United coach for just calling them a little island this week. So, and of course the Sheffield Shield.
Love his passion.
And the Sheffield Shield final.
Taking on Western Australia, so that's good.
It's incredibly exciting, but I just can't see the Devils winning a game for at least 4 years, Lynch. I can't see it.
They will.
No, I'm not happy, mate. And I've been a member since day one, so I'm outraged. And look, as a Richmond member, there's something you've got to do when you're angry with your club. When you're not happy with how your club's going.
Have you got a microwave?
I've got
a truckload of
horseshit.
We haven't got a microwave in the studio, and I was thinking about dropping off some manure outside North Hobart Oval.
Yeah.
But let me be the first Tassie Devils member in history to do this. There you go. That is the historical first ripping of a Tasmanian membership. I want a spill of the board. I want Lynch out. I want the coach. We haven't even the coach sacked. It's all to go.
So what number membership were you actually? Just so I can take note. We might look at that. Rightio.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No,
fair
I'm
enough,
out. It had to be done.
I'm confident we'll win.
Would you rather me be the first person to rip up a Tassie membership, or someone to call up Finey in 5 years' time complaining?
If we're featuring,
do you want me to ring Finey now?
If we're featuring on Finey's show, how good! So can't wait.
That's when you know Tassie's made it. They've lost a big game on a Friday night, and
someone cares.
And Harry from Hobart rings in and goes, "G'day, Finey. I just lost faith in the club, mate." Yeah. Or you know what the other sign is? All us people that have signed up as goodwill members are going to be like, stuff these Tassie bastards. Like, they've just had it. You want to be, actually, you don't want the goodwill anymore. When you've lost the goodwill in a way that people just want you to
going well.
That
Well,
means
that's what
you're
you
going
want.
well.
You start, you get the honeymoon period where everyone's second
these are
team.
nice. Yeah.
It'll be good to see them. Then get to a stage where, all right, we've had enough of that.
Yeah,
Hopefully we get to that stage.
It took the Swans a while. I reckon the Swans used to be that, and then they got Buddy, and everyone's like, nah.
I think the Brisbane Lions,
Yeah,
I think it was
everyone's
everyone's second team for the first couple of grand finals.
And then you started winning flags, and no, that was it. So
even started barracking for Port Adelaide after that. We were on the nose.
Well, it is incredibly exciting. And you've got Rich. You've got another member in Rich. I reckon by the time some people are listening to this podcast, the Tassie Devils may have more members than Richmond and Collingwood. We need, 15,000, 25,000 more members?
25,000 as of probably an hour ago, so early Tuesday. What day is it? Tuesday morning, yeah.
Yep. By the weekend, there'll be over 100.
Amazing.
Easy.
Current pace, maybe, but it's a significant start. And the plan to get the community engaged, and that's the expat community as well, and the football community has certainly got off to a really good start. So congratulations to everyone on the board outside of me, because this is not really my space, but there's been enormous amount of effort put in.
We should clarify that Neds is not a sponsor of the Tasmania Football Club, but we're just talking as footy fans. We're incredibly excited. If you haven't yet already, you can join on the website. It is membership.tasmaniafc.com, only $10. And you can be part of it.
You can. And talking about the memberships and support, and Jackie's point about we can't afford it, just to start with the calls that we've got from Tier 1 sponsors, like serious sponsors that are sponsoring other clubs at the moment, wanting to get involved and wanting to get involved now. But so, hang on, we haven't got any teams at the moment.
As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Cascade or Boags. What's going to happen there? That is going to be the big one, the beer sponsor in Tasmania.
Yeah, we'll address that when we need to.
That's going to lead to civil war. You understand that?
Maybe it is just when you're celebrating that first premiership way down the track is both brands. Maybe.
You say you're going to unite Cascade and Boags.
We can unite the state.
National Pies?
The state.
They might.
National Pies. They were served at the launches.
One on the home jumper and one on the away jumper.
Or maybe when they play in Launceston, they're sponsored by Boags. And when they play in...
Anything could happen. No, well done, Lynchy.
Very inclusive.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Well done.
No,
congratulations. And in the words of David Puddy in Seinfeld, we're the Devils. The Devils!